Ready to supercharge your profits and revolutionize your business in just 2 days? Then you need to be at the Power Profit Workshop.
If you're struggling with profit margins, KPIs, or pricing strategies, then this workshop is designed just for you.
And leading the charge is none other than the virtual CFO herself, Deese. She brings the strategies, tools, and hands-on guidance to help you master KPI tracking, benchmark setting, and team accountability.
But this isn't just another sit and listen event. We're rolling up our sleeves and getting real work done so that you leave with actual tools and strategies that you can implement immediately. Plus, I'm bringing in other industry experts to help you crush your goals.
And because you're a loyal Freedom Blueprint podcast listener, you get a special discount.
You're going to use code FREEDOM at checkout to save on your registration.
Seats are limited, so don't wait. Go to powerprofitworkshop.com and grab your seat today.
Let's make more money faster. See you at the Power Profit Workshop. That's powerprofitworkshop.com to get registered.
Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Deese.
To the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. I'm excited to be hanging out with you today. And listen, before we jump into today's topic, and I do have a really cool topic. I'm excited to talk about this topic. But before we do, I want to check in on something with you. So at the time this episode is being released, it is Monday, January 27th, which means we're not quite done with January, but how are you doing on your New Year's resolutions or your goals for the year or whatever you call them? And I did an episode, actually, I think it was the first one of the year, where we talked a little bit about SMART goals and some other things, and I won't go into that. But one of the things I talked about was that there's a National Quitters Day, which is January 12th this year. And I think what it came out to be is the second Friday of each year is National Quitters Day. And they say at that point, 50% of people stop whatever their goal or resolution was, which, I mean, resolution's just a goal. That's really all that is, but I'm not really sure why they use it. Well, I guess they use it as resolution so they can, I don't know, feel good about the new year. I don't know. Anyways, point being is I hope that you're on the half of that equation that is still driving forward and still going towards your goals. And listen, if you're off of your goals and you've kind of fallen off track, no harm, no foul, man. Just get back on the bus, right? Get back on and start doing things in order to achieve your goals for the year. It's not too late. Still January. I mean, gosh, you still got a lot of time. So one of the things I think that people get a little bit sideways on when they come up with resolutions or goals is they don't have a plan. And here's the deal. You got to have a plan. It's no different than anything else you do in life. A really good analogy for us that are in the home service trades is if you're building a house, you've got to have a blueprint. You've got to have a step-by-step guide. You can't do the plumbing after the house is drywalled, right? That would make no sense. So just make sure whatever your goals are, whatever resolutions you have for the year, just make sure you're sitting down, writing them down, and working them backwards so that you can achieve your goals. So I didn't want to make today's topic about goal setting or any of that. I know I've talked about that a lot. I want to talk about a little bit of a different topic. But before we get into that, I want to give you a free gift for coming in and hanging out with me. Which, by the way, thank you. I appreciate all of you who hang out and check out the podcast and send me really cool notes. It's just cool, and it makes it a lot more fun. It's like anything else in life. When you're doing good at it and people enjoy what you're doing, it just makes it more fun. But I have a new ebook, and the ebook is called Pipe Dreams to Payday. It's just an ebook that I wrote. It kind of started out as that Jerry Maguire middle of the night thing, and then I finally got the whole thing done, and it was great. But you can download a copy. All you got to do is text the word ebook to the number 850-750-5505. A lot of good information in there. It's obviously based around the fact that I've sold a couple of businesses and bought a couple of businesses. It's a little bit of a roadmap on no matter whether you're in that part of your journey that you're ready to sell your business or not. I still think there's some things in there you need to keep in mind so that when you do go to sell, you're ready and you're ready to go and you're not playing the short game. So let's dive into today's topic. The topic today is about how are you playing the game? Yes, the game is an acronym. And one of the things about business is I think sometimes we get a little bit sideways and we forget that it can be fun. Like nobody wants to run a business or be in business that's no fun. It can be fun. There's nothing wrong with having a good time doing what it is you're doing. Matter of fact, that's the dream, is to do something that you love to do. And I think that if you're running your business, if you're leading your team and you're doing it and everybody's rowing in the same direction, it's just a lot more fun. Trust me, I've done it both ways. And when everybody's going in a different direction, it's not nearly as much fun as when everybody is rowing in the same direction and fighting for the same fight and on the same mission. So that's kind of what inspired this today. Is I've caught myself a lot saying, how we play the game, and we play the game this way and we play the game that way. And finally somebody called me out and was like, you gotta help break this down for me. And I thought, well, this would be a good podcast episode. So here you go. So we're going to talk about it. So the game is an acronym, and the acronym is growth focused, automated, motivated, and efficient. And we'll dive into each of those here in just a minute, but growth focused, automated, motivated, efficient. Now, we can go into, we don't want this to be a marathon podcast episode. So I may actually go back in and break these down a little bit because there is a lot inside of each of these. But really the point of today is really for you just to think a little bit different about your business and you to think a little bit different about how you're going about your day so that you can really make sure that you're driving the way you want to drive. If you're not having fun, you're missing something. So that's what I want to get into today. So let's break down growth focus just a little bit. So are you growth focused? Are you thinking about growth? Now, growth can mean different things to different people, right? So for some people, it's, hey, if I hit the $1 million mark. For some, it's 50 million. For some, it's 100 million. For some, it's not revenue at all. For some, it's profitability, which, let's be honest, I hope that your goal is, even if your revenue goal is one of your focuses, I do hope profitability is one of the, it's more fun when you're making money, right? Like that's just more fun. So growth focus is strive to expand really both your revenue. Well, it's really three things. So your revenue, your profits, and your team. Like you want to grow a strong team. As a leader, especially when you're being growth focused, your attention should always be, how do I replace myself? And I think for a lot of people, that's a little bit scary because you're like, then what I'm going to do? What am I going to do then? But the truth is, as your business grows, so does its needs. So a $1 million business, that leader looks different than a $10 million leader, and that leader looks different than a $100 million leader. It's growth, it's expansion, and really part of that should also be yourself, right? So I said there's going to be two things, and now we've ended up with four. So it's going to be your revenue, your profitability, building a strong team, and building your personal leadership skills so that you can work on that and you can be continuously improving. So think about this. What steps are you taking for your future to hit those four marks? Next on our list is going to be automated. Now, automated can be a whole lot of things. And we live in this automation world. There's AI, there's softwares now that we have that do all kinds of really cool automation stuff. So we're going back to efficiency, but I think it's really good to find whatever problem you've got going on, and then look for automation solutions around it. Don't find automation solutions and figure out how to put them in your business. I hope that makes sense. But you should go look for automation as it helps and improves your life and your business. Don't go find an automation product, service, and then figure out how to plug it into your business. You're looking at it the wrong way, because the other way is going to allow you to focus on streamlining the process and really simplifying your operation. Again, go find the automation that best suits your business. Don't go find automation and figure out how to make it work into your business. That will get a little bit sideways. And really, when you're doing it that way, now what happens is you're really empowering your business and your team to leverage technology. Again, I hate to keep repeating that, but so many people go out and find a product or service and then go figure out how to plug it in their business, versus how does it serve you, and how does it serve your business as a way more impactful way in order to work with the efficiency of your business and your operations. Automation should really help reduce manual tasks, and really just, again, overall improve efficiency. So next on the list is going to be motivating, or motivation. So as you're building your team, there needs to be this positive, engaging culture that's happening. Culture is really, in my opinion, culture is at the root of everything. If you've got a team that there is a solid culture, and again, everybody is aiming for the same goal, dude, there's nothing that can stop that team from succeeding. Nothing. If you think you have a good culture, this is be a pretty good test. If you think you have a good culture, but you're always off on your goals and what goals you have set, I would say that your culture might not be as good as you think it is. I think that, and that's another thing too, is, are you doing team goals? Right? That is very motivating to people. If they have a goal, they know what direction. I've seen owners where they have goals internally, they have goals for their business, and they know what they want to do, but then they don't share it. And that doesn't do anybody any good, because now you're going to be disappointed at your team for not hitting the goal, and your team's like, I don't even know about the goal. Like, that would have been great information. Let's call it January 27th, the day this comes out. So make sure your team knows whatever the goals are that you have, in order to be able to make sure and motivate them and engage them and share the wins and the losses with them as well. And really, as you do that too, what ends up happening is, when your team is motivated and they're fired up and they're pumped up, they are going to take care of each other and your customers at a way better level. Like, if you want to know, at Paradise, we call it lagniappe. That's one of our core values. And lagniappe is a French-Canadian term for that little extra. So like baker's dozen. And for us, that was always something that we talked about, is everybody rowing in the same direction. And we can tell that a lot of times by the reviews we get. So, you hear a lot about technicians. They know the trash is run that day, or let's not use trash as an example. Let's use the newspaper. Not that anybody gets it, but back in the day, it used to be we would teach technicians, if you go to the house and you see the newspaper, pick it up and take it to the house and hand it to the customer. And I think there's this really cool mindset, or not mindset shift, but there's this really cool thing that happens with a customer. Actually, it is a mindset shift, that the customer now looks at you as someone who is there being helpful versus just a broke fix kind of person. So when your team is all motivated and rowing in the same direction, they want to do that kind of lagniappe stuff, but in order to make the team look better. And I think that's just such a cool thing when that's happening. And last but certainly not least, efficient. So you want to be as efficient as possible. You want to maximize productivity. You want to minimize waste. I think we all know that, but there also has to be these other things in play to do that. So your team has to be motivated in order to be the most productive and minimize waste. They also have to be rewarded for that kind of thing. For us, a lot of times we talk about billable efficiency being a real good way to compensate or bonus technicians is that will help them naturally police themselves to minimize waste and maximize productivity. Because if you're only paying technicians or team members in general by the hour, think about what is their motivation each day. And the truth is, it's going to be either get off, get home, and go do whatever else they want to do as fast as possible, or it's going to be work as many hours as possible, right? The only way to make more money, if you're only paying people by the hour, the only way for them to make more money is to work more hours, right? So just think about that as you talk about, or as you think about how to maximize productivity and minimize waste, because efficiency is how we are the most profitable in our businesses. So when you think about the two things that can kill your profit the fastest in our space, the two things that can just hammer you down faster than anything else is going to be your labor and your material. It's the two things. So just think about that. So as you're being efficient and as you're thinking about, do I play the game, or how do I play the game better, or am I even playing the game, or is the game playing me? Like, as you think about that, just think about how you're compensating your team. It matters, man. It matters because you want them to win when you win. Unfortunately, you can't really have we didn't make any money this month, so nobody gets paid. That's not really a thing. As an owner of the business, that's part of the risk you take. But if you give them a way to win when you win, man, I'm telling you, there's some cool stuff that happens because now they want to win because they win too. The other thing on efficiency is be on the lookout for how to be more efficient. Like, what are things that you can do to improve the operation? And now, if you're an owner or leader that is not in a truck day to day, or you're not in a role where you answer the phone and talk to customers on a day-to-day basis, which if you're listening to this, I hope you aren't any of those things. I hope you don't do any of that on a full-time basis. Which means if you're not doing it, go ask those people how to be more efficient. Don't be scared to sit down and say, hey, we're struggling with this job. Let's call it repipes. Like, plumbing side, we're struggling on repipes. What is it that we can do to be more efficient? Don't be scared to ask the team. Sit down, bring in some breakfast, have your install team sit and just ask them the simple question. I'm telling you, you will be absolutely amazed at some of the things that you will learn. What's great about it is, as you're thinking about efficiency, and if billable efficiency is something that's even important to you, if you sit down with your team and go, listen, how do we take this job and how do we go from 12 hours to 10 hours? Just throw that challenge out to them. Whatever it is that they need, either a yes or no while you're sitting at the table, but if it's anything you can do, which hopefully there's nothing completely out of this world that you can't get them to support them, then now that they've come up with the idea, now you can go, great, on the next one, we're gonna book it for 10 hours. Let's see if we can get it done. And now let them go to work because it's their goal. Now, your goal is to be more efficient. Now their goal is to be more efficient. So just something to think about as you start the year, right? As you start the year and as you go through it, and think about how to win, how to play the game different, because we all want to win. That's why we're doing this. So these are just a couple of things to really put in your back pocket and be thinking about as you go through your day. Be thinking about it. Write it down. Write down game, and then just think about. Because really, well, let me summarize these to make sure that we're all on the same page here. But again, growth focused, right? Always strive to grow, and both revenue. Well, we added some things. So we said revenue, profitability, team, and from a leadership, your own personal development, right? So there's 4 things that are going to go inside your growth focused. The next thing is going to be automated. What are some things that you can do to streamline your business? What can you do to streamline it? Is there technology out there? Is there tools? What is it that can help you with the business? Motivating your team. What are you doing to motivate and support them and make sure everybody is having fun? As counterproductive as that sometimes I say that to people and they're like, it's not fun, it's a job. Well, nobody wants a job. So quit giving them a job. Let them be on a team and let's have fun and watch what happens. So just make sure that you're motivating your team. Even if your natural personality is not to be the cheerleader, that is okay. Have someone on your team that's gonna rally the troops. And sometimes you just have to do stuff that's uncomfortable and do things that are outside. Sometimes you got to give a high five. Sometimes you got to give a fist bump. Sometimes you got to give a good job. Whether it's your personality or not, as a leader of the organization, it is your job. It is your job to make sure your team is doing a good job and they're fired up and they're rowing in the same direction. That's your job. And last on here is efficient. Make sure you're being as efficient as humanly possible. There's so many different ways to do that. And all of this rolls in together, right? As I go through this, all four of these, they all tie in together, which is really great. And all of these things are going to lead to your business being more enjoyable, scalable, a sustainable operation. And really, this is going to help you in your long-term growth. Again, growth does not have to be one thing. It can be a couple of things, but this is going to help you maximize whatever long-term growth looks like for you. So listen, I hope that was helpful. I know that was a lot of information in a very short period of time, but listen, I encourage you to take action. And really, I think the first action is just write it down, like write down game. And if you're not sure about any of the terms or whatever, in the show notes, if you go to the website, justindeese.com or either freedomblueprintpodcast.com, go to the show notes. You'll be able to see all the stuff we talked about in the notes. If you want to copy and paste them, they'll be in there. And just if there is something that is on your mind, on your heart, whatever it is that we talked about, that you're like, I've got to do it. Make today the day that you take action. Don't wait till tomorrow, because the truth is, once you turn this podcast off, if you don't give yourself 5 minutes to just kind of think about your business, then what's going to happen is a fire is going to come up and you're going to be on to the next thing and putting out fires. And just give yourself a couple of minutes to think about your business as a strategic leader and an amazing leader that you are, and that you're striving to be even better always. So anyways, thank you for joining me on today's episode. Listen, subscribe to the episode, and then anytime there's new content released, you'll be the first to know, man. It'll pop up on your phone and say, hey, there's some new cool stuff coming out. So remember, the question of the day is, how are you playing the game? And the answer is, you should be playing the game to win and have fun. But listen, until next time, set those goals and watch your business and leadership transform. This is Justin Deese signing off from the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Stay motivated, focus on growth, and as always, keep crushing it.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.